If your attack has to touch the soul, but your opponent can shift the entire spirit world around you, who actually has the advantage? That's the puzzle with Nobara versus Momo. Yes, a hypothetical crossover. Jujutsu Kaisen's precision sorcerer versus Dandadan's yokai wrangler. Here's what makes this matchup brutal. One needs proximity, the other erases it. So what breaks first? Your nerve, your aim, or the ground beneath your feet? We're breaking down their specialties. Soul level precision versus occult battlefield control. And yes, those are real to their source material. And if you think staying out of range keeps you safe, you haven't seen what Momo does with range. Let's see what actually lands first. We're weighing a locked-in, soul-level strike against wide area spiritual interference, and the timing decides everything. Nobara's kit is built for exactness. Straw doll technique with resonance, nails, hammer. She isn't breaking guard, she's bypassing them. She establishes a physical link through hair, blood, or a shared fragment like fabric fibers. Once the tether is real, she pours cursed energy through the doll, and the target eats the harm at their core, not surface, core. That's why her damage scales so hard when she confirms. It's surgical, and proven in her series, Momo doesn't trade tools one-to-one. In Dandadan, she's a psychic with second sight who can perceive, engage with, and leverage spirits and yokai phenomena. She's not summoning an army on command, but in haunted active spaces, she reads the room, places focus, and uses talismans or spiritual intuition to steer the flow. That turns the arena into a moving problem set. Lanes get noisy, angles get contested. It's not pure command over yokai. It's applied awareness and interference that creates battlefield clutter. So what blocks what? Nobara's locksmith approach needs a clean credential. Hair, blood, a snag of cloth. She'll fire nails at angles to create shrapnel, bait scrambles, and harvest any fragment that proves contact. With resonance, one valid tether means walls don't save you. That tracks directly to cannon. The doll stands in. The cursed energy channels. The target suffers in parallel. But battlefield interference jams confirmation. Momo can salt the approach with talismans, throw off lines of sight, and stack enough spiritual noise that Nobara has to double-check whether a fragment actually belongs to her true target. That costs nails, tempo, and windows. It's less about hard nullification and more about forcing Nobara to spend reps verifying before she commits to resonance. Mindset matters. Nobara thrives in pressure and retaliatory beats. She'll accept trades, stay inside chaos, and convert one mistake into a kill line. She's reactive, opportunistic, and confident in tight quarters. Momo is proactive. She plans around larger forces than herself, sets up, and guides momentum. She's a strategist who keeps the macro advantage by keeping the field living and adaptive. Those attitudes drive decision-making. One hunts for a single opening, the other prevents that opening from existing. Which lands first comes down to access versus denial. If Nobara tags a valid piece, the damage doesn't care about cover. If Momo layers the field with decoys, barriers, and spirit activity, Nobara's read gets delayed, and her windows shrink. That's a tempo fight. Both have limited bandwidth. Nobara's reloads and repositioning tax her cadence. Momo's layering and maintenance tax her focus and stamina. Here's the fair correction on mechanics. Nobara's resonance is explicit. A tether makes the doll you. That's canon. Momo's ecosystem is situational. She doesn't puppeteer yokai like soldiers, but she can cooperate with friendly entities, ward against hostile ones, and use talismans or spiritual anchors to shore up space. That still yields control, just with nuance, fewer hard commands, more smart pressure, and protective framing. In practice, Nobara will probe angled nails, ricochets, trap placements that convert missed hits into fragments. She'll try to avoid needless rushes by letting debris work as collectors. Momo will contest every channel. She'll crowd lanes with spirit interference, place wards on likely approach vectors, and use decoy anchors that waste Nobara's checks. Every false positive buys Momo time to rotate her setup. Think of it as hacking versus network architecture. Nobara wants one clean exploit, the tether that routes straight to the core. Momo wants redundancies, decoys, and static so the packet never authenticates. If Nobara stays patient and keeps her aim disciplined, she finds a credential. If Momo keeps the system adaptive, the credential expires before resonance fires. Psychology decides who blinks. Nobara's comfort with knife-edge trades means she won't panic when the room tightens. She'll trade for information and hold her nerve. Momo's comfort with orchestration means she'll keep rebalancing the field and refuse to give a stable angle. Match flow is the resource. Each second of clean setup for Momo is a second Nobara must turn into a tether. Each nail Nobara spins for intel is a cue for Momo to refresh wards and shuffle anchors. So what actually lands first? The moment one breaks the other's setup loop. A clean fragment in Nobara's hand turns a straw doll into a mirror and ignored bodies. A kept, layered field on Momo's side starves the tether and drains Nobara's clock. With that dynamic clear, we can now define the win paths and the exact counters that cut them off. Breaking the other's core plan starts with a simple metric: completion under fire. Not who moves faster, but who locks their condition while the other is still building. If Nobara needs a tether and Momo needs the field, who finishes first? Execution speed is the stat. Nobara doesn't need 10 steps, she needs one valid fragment. Momo doesn't need raw hit, she needs a stable ecosystem that keeps those fragments from ever being clean. That's the heartbeat of this matchup. Nobara's win path is brutal in its simplicity. She forces a tag with shrapnel, hair, or any shared medium she can scrape off you, then fires resonance straight into the target where armor can't reach. She thrives in exchanges, where a single nail turns into a core jab. The pressure multiplies with each confirmation. One tag becomes two. Two becomes a burst of follow-ups. In canon, this scaling is situational, not infinite. Resonance hits hard once a link is secured, and repeated tethers let her stack damage. But it's not a screen-wide nuke. It's precise, repeatable, and punishing when she reads the moment right. Momo's response is to drown that single pathway in noise. She leverages yokai activity and spiritual presence to collapse angles, uses decoys to create false anchors, and lets ambient static scramble Nobara's read on what is actually connected. With second sight and practical charm use, she can lay wards, nudge entities, and keep the flow unpredictable. Talismans and simple barriers can misdirect attention and line of sight, forcing Nobara to doubt a line that looks valid. Doubt is a delay. A delay is lost tempo. Momo's own win path plays the long game. Pin Nobara's movement with layered interference. Bait hammer windups so the commitment windows stretch. Then punish during reload frames or when Nobara needs a lane to triangulate. If Momo desyncs Nobara's rhythm, the nails start to feel heavy, and every swing risks a counter. She doesn't need to crush, she needs to constrict. This matches what we see. Momo performs best when she keeps the environment active and herself mobile, directing attention and pressure rather than brute forcing a finish. Nobara counters by refusing to ask for permission. Indirect hits are her cheat code. She uses detonations to scatter fragments, ricochets to tag blind corners, and trap placements to seed future angles. She can farm a tether without charging straight in. That's key. If she treats the field like a minefield that feeds her instead of scares her, Momo's swarm becomes a resource. All of that lines up with her canon creativity, angled shots, delayed pops, and turning debris into a conduit. So we attack weaknesses. Nobara's range is modest and her setup takes intent. She can't spam forever. Nails are finite, timing matters, and reloads are real. Momo relies on external activity and situational support. If the field gets chaotic in a way she didn't plan, her guidance loops strain, and keeping attention distributed takes effort. Break order, and her influence dips. Their trump cards matter, but stay grounded. Nobara doesn't go apocalyptic, she escalates by securing stronger, cleaner links. Once a firm tether is in hand, resonance can hit decisively and bypass conventional defense, letting her chain pressure faster. Momo's surge play isn't summoning on command so much as rallying what's present, reinforcing wards, coordinating with a stronger entity if available, or focusing her intent to harden a zone. It's about tightening coverage and spiking denial, not instant domination. Here's where the snowball lives. The first clean setup tilts everything. If Nobara lands an early tether, every follow-up becomes faster and meaner within her technique's limits. If Momo cements layers first, every Nobara action becomes attacks. Break rhythm once, and you start paying interest. That's why the opening minute is lethal, without a single knockout blow. We'll close a gap the community asks about. Can Nobara touch Momo through spirit shields? Yes, if she secures a valid tether. Layers, stall her reads, and soak line of sight. But soul targeting via straw doll doesn't care about bodyguards once the link is real. The problem isn't the shield, it's finding the stitch it can't cover. On the flip side, can Momo's allies hard counter explosive cursed techniques? They can smother lines and soak angles, but they don't invalidate a confirmed proxy. So who sets up faster when both are under fire? If Momo wins the first rotation and keeps entities rotating like a conveyor belt, she steals Nobara's time and sells it back at a markup. If Nobara forces even one verified fragment through the static, she compresses the fight to a point where Momo's wide net can't catch the needle. It only takes one nail to flip tempo. Now we take that theory to the ground. Who gains the first decisive foothold when precision meets swarm tactics? We open on motion. Setup wars, momentum swings, and the near win locks into the sequence of set, test, and deny, each side trying to complete their core condition while bleeding the other's clock. Momo spreads awareness, not literal commands. She reads the hotspots, posts simple wards, and positions cooperative spirits to watch arcs and pressure likely lanes. The space gets busy, sightlines shorten, approach vectors get tagged, and sudden spikes of activity cue where not to step. Nobara stays calm. Light hammer taps mark rhythm. One forward probe, one lateral ricochet, then a low strike to sample ground clutter. She's mapping noise density and logging where the gaps repeat. It's measured. It's her speed. The first reversal is small by design. Nobara plants a trap nail along a choke, ankle height, low profile. A nearby spirit intercepts and kills the pop. Good read by Momo's side, but the broken shaft kicks a tiny shard into a wall, and it snags a thread of fabric lint drifting from earlier movement. That's a plausible link source for Straw Doll, a physical fragment that belongs to the target. It's faint, but it meets the technique's logic. Nobara's focus hardens. A weak link still carries a pulse if she confirms it. Momo doesn't tunnel. She rotates attention, moves the true pressure diagonal with a subtle relocation, and burns a couple talismans to steady that lane. It's not folding the map. It's a smart reposition and a refresh of anchors to keep the field alive. Nobara sells a commit into the soft center, lets a scout bite on the tail, then drives a nail into a rear wall. Angle set. The earlier shard gives her a second point. It's depth over width, and she wants that triangulation for a safe confirm. Tempo chess kicks in. Momo wins wide. More lanes, more checks, more time tax. Nobara wins deep. Fewer actions, higher value per confirm. Each second Momo maintains layers, the map gets teeth. Each second Nobara narrows a thread. A nerve ending cuts out. Beast trade in single-digit counts. No wasted steps. Both steal time. Momo calls for pressure, not a finisher. A tougher, cooperative spirit leans in, and the atmosphere clamps. It's suppression. Pin her stance, tax her timing, make the next hammer fractionally late. Nobara accepts a glancing hit to steal spacing data, then pings cursed energy along the lint thread she's verified. Straw Doll, resonance, the straw proxy takes the nail. The effect rides the link. The pulse staggers Momo. It's not decisive, but it's clean. Nearby spirits wobble a half step. Momo reacts by cutting commitments that just got risky, burning a ward, reassigning a watch angle, and shifting her own position to shake the tenuous link. That breaks Nobara's read mid-breath, and the counter comes fast. Two spirits cross-cut her angles, while a third bodies a nail out of the air. That punish window is legit, and Momo presses it. Now the screws turn. Lanes get pinned like traffic cones. Nails are finite. Reload matters. Nobara kites without conceding, dragging Momo into a rhythm the conductor prefers. Predictable beats, predictable checks. The setup window shrinks to seconds. One overreach means a grab. One mistimed swing means losing a tool. A quick note on mechanics mid-flow. Allies can smother lines and eat angles. They do not invalidate a confirmed proxy. That's why that earlier stagger got through. Bodyguards stop bodies, resonance keys to a link. Our near win tilts toward Momo on paper. Field control is hers. Pressure is hers. The punish is one beat from closing if Nobara fires into a fake line or wastes a hammer for nothing. The swarm looks ready to cash the check. Nobara buys one beat back with a feint. She shows a draw from the pouch, obvious enough for a watcher to lunge, while her real intent is the old shard, wedged in mortar, still holding residue she can redress. A short tap, not a full swing, reawakens the established path right as Momo rotates her last secure anchor to cover that diagonal. It's a timing cut, not power. The room barely changes. Momo feels it. One more layer of deception is on the table. and the next exchange decides whether space wins or the core does. In this hypothetical crossover, the deciding factor is link integrity versus layered defense. When Nobara secures a legitimate tether, Straw Doll with resonance routes damage to the spiritual core and bypasses external bodyguards. That interaction is consistent with her canon mechanics and a plausible read on how Momo's spirit-backed shielding would behave. So the winner is Nobara Kugisaki. One verified fragment, one clean resonance. That's the ultimate expression of power under pressure. Momo's orchestration shows unmatched resolve and nearly steals tempo, but precision with a valid proxy closes. Your turn. Could Momo Surge deny every credential? Drop your take. Subscribe for more crossover analysis.